Yay!
Yay.
Somebody's counting
where's
to
the
30
timer?
so that I can swear, right?
I was going to say, where's the countdown timer?
We found out that you're apparently not supposed to swear in the first 30 seconds, so now we got to wait patiently.
Which is really hard to do considering 2020 is over.
Yeah, thank
Hold on,
fucking
I can pull
God.
up
Was
the-
that
I can
30
pull up
seconds?
the clock. I'll let you
Close
know.
enough.
Oh,
I'll-
no.
Close enough.
Whatever.
Welcome to the Dresden Files podcast. That's not the Dresden Files podcast, but in fact, the Broken Charles podcast with everybody else.
Yay,
Except
us.
Jerry.
Yeah,
Freaking
and I have
Jerry.
been annoying him because why not? We had this on the calendar for so long,
Right.
and he's not even joining from his car. My God.
All right, that's 30 seconds. Feel free to fuck away.
All right. This
That's
is
the
now
point,
rated
Jerry.
R
Just
because-
the one time a year I get to see him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what are we doing? One of the people in charge should be in charge.
The year-end
making people
special
jealous.
Slap Gift Exchange, yay! And probably ranting about Star Wars or saying how much we love The Mandalorian and the season 2 finale.
Yeah. Some
Oh
of
my
us
God, it
are
was so
saying
great.
how much we love it, and one of
Some
us
of
is going to
some of us and some of us are correct. Some of us are saying how much we love it, and some of us are correct. You're
Uh-huh.
absolutely right.
It's gotten me so much into Star Wars, I just bought 6 Star Wars books.
Oh, shut
Wow.
up! You being into Star Wars is not good for anyone.
I mean, once again, I find myself agreeing with EG, which is weird, but you know.
We're going to talk so much Star Wars on the podcast, Justin. That's great.
Yeah, on your coding
programming.
podcast.
Yeah.
Enjoy
No,
that.
no, while we weren't recording.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
That's the forbidden subject.
Let's talk about the best shows of 2020 and why it's The Mandalorian. So
It's not.
Oh.
that's our next topic.
All right, I mean that doesn't bring up a good topic. What's the weirdest thing you streamed during quarantine?
I have children now, so I don't know, like what,
Which means your
what's one
stuff
of the
should have gotten
Disney
weirder when
movies?
you have free time.
Soul, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, it was pretty good. I enjoyed
Yeah.
that.
It
It was kind of dull.
was
It
good.
was like, eh.
I wouldn't say
I
it's
actually
weird,
just
but
watched
I watched
the.
Queen's Gambit.
I watched.
Yeah,
the
that wasn't
Pacemaster
weird.
last night for the first time, and I
It
don't
was
know. How
about
many
a board game.
How do I know what's weird? I don't know.
Well,
Oh,
everything on
Would
your
you be
side of the
embarrassed
screen
to
is
share
weird.
it?
Or maybe the craziest thing you watched, like Lion or Tiger King's up there.
I never
Love is
bothered.
Blind. That
Yeah.
thing is fucking bonkers.
I watched
Sorry,
a bunch
became
of horror
popular,
movies
so-
this past week, but
What'd you
that's- I don't-
watch? You didn't watch any
Uh,
for Halloween, but you watched them in the last week. I've been
Well, I
waiting
had-
2 months for this.
Let's see. I was getting caught up on a few things. I watched The Witch. That was good.
Okay.
Hereditary and Midsummer. Hereditary was fucked up.
I
Yep.
need to watch
Midsummer's
all of
pretty
these.
fucked up too.
Midsummer was like very unsettling, and I really enjoyed that. But
There was-
Hereditary was like, whoa.
There was a scene early on in Midsummer, like when they get there and they're on the field, where like the guy's eyes like bug out for like just a second, and it's really fucking weird because nothing's really started happening yet. But this one weird thing, it's like
There's a
okay.
lot of weird
Midsummer-
things.
Midsummer's just a worse Wicker Man.
I know I've seen
Like
it, but it
the
was
original
a long
Wicker
fucking time
Man,
ago.
or-
Yes, the original. Well, no, the
It's
Nicolas
worse
Cage.
than that.
The Nicolas Cage one is easily the most bonkers thing anybody would ever watch.
Dude, that movie was so fucking
But
bad.
yes, the original one from the 70s.
Yeah.
I liked Midsummer,
Early 80s.
but oh my god, that moment in Hereditary. Mm.
I didn't watch Jiu-Jitsu yet. I was going to watch that. That would have counted for my most crazy thing.
I watched Slender Man. Terrible
Nice.
movie.
Yeah.
I've been in the quarantine. I've
living-
rewatched some of ER. I fell out of it again, and that's not crazy.
I was gonna say,
Fringe,
like the
that's
the
not-
old medical trauma. No,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be.
Has anyone
crazy.
seen The Killing of a Sacred Deer?
I've never even heard of
It's a
that.
horror movie with Colin Farrell and that weird kid from Dunkirk and a couple other shows, the Irish kid. It's very weird and unsettling
Okay.
at times. It's a horror movie, but
Weird
like
Irish kid from Dunkirk.
this kid just kind of like does things, and it's wicked
Mean
unsettling.
acts.
I just started watching You on Netflix. That is a really
love that show.
creepy show.
That was so
Like me
overrated.
and Carrie's favorite show.
You kind of look like him, Colin.
I'm
When you know
rewatching
something, are you like stalking and killing women?
Oh, geez. You can't just ask people.
How do I
that,
even
like-
answer that?
Yeah, that's a 2020 question. We don't ask that anymore. So
No, that's the way we break into 2021. Let everyone know you're not really going to feel much different.
Yeah.
Time marches on.
That's the weirdest things I've watched. Must be Fringe, because weird things happen in that show.
Fringe was fun up until it got stupid.
I
It's
don't.
good till
I
it
never.
wasn't.
I never finished it, so I'm finishing it now. So I'm halfway through
Oh.
season 2.
What was that Netflix show where it was like someone has a asshole for a mouth? Anybody watch
What?
that?
Oh,
Oh,
I
that's
know
not
what you're
Netflix, but
talking
that's
about.
Preacher,
Hmm.
right? Preacher.
No, that's not the name of it.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Apparently there are two, I guess.
Yeah, no, there's one where like a guy can like eat people with his asshole. It's weird.
I don't know if it's no. I've only seen the screenshot where it's like supposed to be this weird body deformity thing. So this girl has an asshole for a mouth.
It's not a girl in Preacher, but that's Preacher.
Thing.
I don't know why it's a thing. It just came out this year because Netflix is fucking.
Why is
yeah, no,
Human Centipede
I know
a
what
thing?
Preacher
Why
is.
is-
Preacher's the show on FX.
Yeah.
No, it's
And
not
there's a-
Preacher.
there's a
It's
person-
a Netflix.
that's
It's a
Arseface.
Netflix exclusive movie that's like an hour and a half long.
I just realized we intended to watch Velocipaster over Christmas, but forgot to.
Is anyone gonna
It's a
watch
pastor
the,
who touches a relic that lets him become a velociraptor. The fight crime.
That sounds like
I may
something
watch
right
the
up your
movie.
Melissa Ellie.
Is anyone
Colin?
gonna watch the KFC movie?
No.
No, but I'm getting-
Anyone get into
I
Morbid
still think that
curiosity.
shit's a prank. So
I'm getting
Along with
the console. I'm getting the console
Yeah.
for sure.
Just makes sense.
I mean, I guess if I ate KFC anymore, then maybe the console
See,
would be a little bit above.
I mean, it's just
what
the only
fuck.
console you can actually get. So
We'll see.
Maybe it
about that.
wasn't on Netflix. It's called Eat My Shit. It was a short story. I don't know why it kept popping up. There was something on Netflix where it was like that, where it was like these weird body deformity things.
It was
I
just
don't know.
such a vivid short story that you've got the image in your brain, huh?
I don't fucking know. But anyway, that would count, I assume, as if anybody bothers with it.
That's pretty fucking weird. Yeah, I'll let you win.
I finally watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit the other day, and I felt betrayed. I had never seen it before.
Right?
That's
I
weird.
feel
when I
betrayed.
watch
You've
it.
never seen that before.
why didn't you? That's a you decision. You'd never seen it before. That's
Well,
like
it's
me
like-
not
He's
having
never
watched
watched
Princess
anything.
Bride.
We know this. He didn't have a childhood.
Yeah. Well, the people who controlled who I watch or what I watched when I was growing up never had the like inclination to show that
Parents,
to me.
Usually, you know, unless you were raised by the government or like in a lab, the people
Oh.
that raised me who
What
taught
did
us
they-
like
Are you
I was
assuming
including
her
grandparents
parentage
and
in
uncles,
2021?
kind of, but like
Then what did they show you instead?
Terminator.
Oh my god!
That
I
is
mean,
the
I
correct thing
watched-
to do.
I
Queen
watched
of the
Terminator
Damned, no.
too, but like I was thinking, okay, maybe the part where he gets like the acetone or whatever dumped on him might have been a little much for you as a child.
Oh,
And then
God,
the first thing that comes to mind is Terminator. No,
And now
I'm
we
not
know why
kidding. I
she's
was
so
sat
fucked
down
up.
in front of Aliens, Terminator, all of them. Let's see.
Like
my
in one
my
setting?
uncle took me to Queen of the Damned when I was like 5. And even my mom was like, "You really took her to that?" But like, I was perfectly fine with it because
I mean, Queen
When
of the
they were-
Damned is not a good movie, but if that soundtrack is that's a great.
Soundtrack-
Oh, that
That's-
thing's banging.
that's
Yeah.
Queen of the Damned is because she died in the middle of it, so they had to finish the movie with recut footage of her. So
Yeah, but the
Aaliyah,
first half of the movie
you know.
isn't good either, so it doesn't matter.
yeah. Anyway, but yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense why we get along now, but I just think it's funny that they were like, no, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is right out. But
they don't care about comedy. And so there's a lot of comedy that I was never exposed to. And
That explains things.
I really like noir. That should be pretty obvious. And then I also enjoy cartoons. And so I was like, why haven't I seen this? This is a crime.
right, yeah. There you go. That's the unforgivable sin from your parents now. Now you
Yeah.
So
finally
many
found.
people are like anti-animation too, so like it's like a double whammy.
Yeah, but I mean, you can do all of those things, but like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, like strip out all the shit that you would normally be mad about. How could you just not appreciate the art form, especially compared to the decade that it came out, right? Like
Mhm.
the shit that they were doing, like it was almost impossible, right? Like it's just so good, what they had to do. But yeah,
The amount of work and awkwardness it
God.
must have been to record it. I was amazed.
Yeah, well, like I said,
I
I
have
watched
I have
Page
a friend.
for the first time last night, and I don't know how many years, and that animation's still not bad.
What is that?
Page Master.
Oh
What's that?
yeah.
That one's not good, but okay.
What's
It's
page
fine.
five?
Because that isn't that the one with Brad Pitt or whatever?
No, it's, what? No, it's
Macaulay
Macaulay
Culkin.
Culkin.
Oh, is that the one
Oh,
where he
I'm
gets sucked
thinking a
into the
different
book?
thing then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I'm talking about.
Oh
the-
yeah, that's
the
real.
cartoon,
I
the
love
kids
that
movie.
I loved that as a
yeah,
kid.
but
I didn't know the English title, but I watched it in English.
Cool
but-
World. I was thinking Cool World. That's why.
Yeah, it's not Hjorgenborgen. It's Page Master. All right.
Yeah, because Cool World is like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So,
Hmm.
but
Is it
not
worth it?
nearly as good. No.
Okay.
Yeah, like I mean, you probably should go watch it, but I mean, like it. I think those are the two good things I could say about it. Is Brad Pitt is in it, which this is like super
Not
early. This is
necessarily a
like
good thing.
92, right? So like this is before anybody knew who he was. I
He was
think.
pretty.
And then, it's got the same kind of style as Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but I'm not even sure I finished it, or if I did, I
Isn't, like,
blocked it
Cool
from my
World
memory.
more like sci-fi-y?
Okay, I don't know. I don't
Is that a
remember the
bad
plot.
thing?
Yeah. All right. That's the other thing. So
You know, we got rid of a bunch of old VHSs the other 2 days ago, and so we're going through it and looking through what we had and what this. There was still an unopened in the plastic VHS of Titan AE
That's
Oh,
awesome.
that none of us
I
bothered
love
with.
that movie.
yeah. Criminally
Underrated.
underrated. Yeah.
I know I
Can't
have
name
seen
a planet Bob.
That was a
You know,
long
aren't
time ago.
that one and Treasure Planet are usually the ones people are like, oh, these were so good and unappreciated in their time, and I'm like, I didn't like either one.
Treasure Planet is great. I don't get it why you don't like that one.
Because
Yeah.
he's a hater, and that's what haters do.
That is so true. When we bring up Mandalorian, and he's just like, and Mandalorian's
He's a
great.
hater.
My
Right there,
voice doesn't
EG.
go that high.
Mandalorian
Second of all,
is
it's not my fault. you
everything
like bad
Star
things.
Wars should be.
Just because you're an easy normie who likes the jangly keys doesn't mean that it's good.
Man, someone's brought out the salt today.
And this,
Yeah,
no, that's just
yeah.
typical E EG.
He's basically just a Himalayan rock salt in person form.
Right. He's had a
Did you-
couple of days to foment. So
Listen, if you're going to keep bringing it up, it's going to keep getting worse.
Mandalorian's great.
If you
So-
want to enjoy things by yourself, then you do it on when I'm not on.
So what is it that you do like again, EG? Like
What,
show
from this year
wise
specifically? I didn't watch a lot of shows. The only one I know for sure that I liked that was a show was Blind Manor. I didn't really watch anything this year that was this year that I.
You
can
said
remember.
positive words about Queen's Gambit.
Right, I did like Queen's Gambit. You're right.
Yeah, that's good. It's really hard to not like Queen's Gambit, I feel like.
They
Unless
did
you're
a
just
lot
not
of-
into
I
it.
could see why someone might find it boring, but even I would be like,
I
Yeah,
think my
it was-
roommate probably would find it boring because if there's not a lot of action, so I mean, and he's like
well,
very
yeah,
much
it's,
into
it's not, you know. But it was good.
action kind of person,
I did like that.
like Jacob. Action item.
The shame
Just
of
sort of
using
slipped
corporate
out.
speech.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a flash of we watched Age of Ultron the other day because I was hankering for a Marvel movie, and the boy
So you
was
picked
like,
the worst
worst
Avenger
one?
movie.
No. We started with the first one, and then the boy's like, "Is this the one with Ultron in it?" I'm like, "It is not, but would you like to watch that one?" Because I personally still love it. It's got so many great one-liners and moments.
Yeah,
in
it's
it,
good.
but-
There's not a
I
bad
did
Marvel
watch
movie,
it, but I
so-
did not enjoy it the first time around.
yeah, but the
You
whole
said
like
there's not a
you
bad
know,
Marvel movie.
There's not a bad Marvel movie.
Okay,
There-
I'm not getting
yeah.
into this with you now.
yep, there isn't. So like I'll agree as far as
There
to
are
say
worse
that,
Marvel movies than other Marvel movies. but,
Exactly.
there's no one that I hate, and the
Yeah.
one that I probably hate that would hate the most might be the Miss Marvel,
Captain
the
Marvel.
annoying. Yeah, because
Yeah.
she's just it's just because I don't like the actor.
she doesn't annoy me at all. It just wasn't an especially great movie. Like the part of it, for example, is like Marvel likes to throw in all these references and all these things for like consistency, and I don't feel like they tried to do that in her case. They were just like, let's do it as a prequel. Why? Because we need a reason for her to show up at the end of Endgame.
It's the same
When-
reason Wonder Woman 84 sucked because they didn't follow their own.
God, that
continuity.
movie was terrible.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but
Yeah.
it's
I didn't
I have
mind
yet to
it.
see the guy who liked it. So Jacob is the most positive, review
Like,
I've heard.
it has a lot of the
So-
same issues that the first one had, and if you enjoyed the first one, you'll enjoy the second one, I think.
I disagree. I think it's got a lot more because the first one you could make the argument that it's a solid 2-act film if it ends, but because the third act trashes that.
I was
Right.
about to say,
Right.
the first one seemed like really promising, and then the end was just really weird.
Right. This one's just bad throughout.
I have not
Entertaining
had any
nonetheless, but
interest
bad.
in watching any of them, but I have been enjoying everyone else being mad about them.
I knew it was going to be bad. I was like, I'll watch this for the lulls, but I don't care.
I didn't even watch the first one. I just heard that Wonder Woman 1984 was bad, and I'm like, okay, see.
Yep.
it was. But it had Pedro in it, so.
Well, now he finally gets to act again, as opposed to that other show that people like.
Any other BS, or should we get down to business?
The fun business.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Let's get down to business.
I actually have a gift
Wow.
this year, so
Good
I'm
job,
excited.
Andres.
Yeah, there was that mix up last year where I ended up getting 2 gifts.
Yeah. Well, how dare you have the same name?
Right.
It's differentiated in the spreadsheet, and it didn't even come with that name this time, so I don't want to hear that argument.
Did you get your replacement gift last year?
Yeah, eventually, but it was, was
With
from
Star Wars
Jay, and
stickers or
so it
something.
included stickers.
And he's not even joining from a car. God damn it! I'll have
So
to
he
shame
doesn't
him.
get a gift. That's his problem.
Probably already got something.
Well, that's also his problem.
Is it?
Well,
Andres is
E.g.
over here singing.
Hmm.
You know,
why don't you start?
Must I?
Yeah, because we
I'm
can celebrate the
singing
fact that you have one.
Mine's specially gift wrapped in this ostentatious bag that I now have to throw out.
Ooh, fancy.
Is it? Oh, and it came with a custom made typed card. Isn't that nice? I appreciate that whoever sent this attributed it to all of Broken Jars, even though only one of you paid for it. I'm going to assume this was the director now because that seems like the kind of thing she would do.
I've been leaning more and more towards that as the evidence mounted up, and so
Well, because it's wrapped and it's this and it's that, and it's like
That's
all
just so girly.
that
And
was
we only
not
have
one of
we
the-
only have 1.5 girl. So
I also
One and a
can't.
half.
Are
I
you
also
the-
can't
are you
open
the
this,
half?
so this is starting to.
well, Jacob is a bit of a bitch, right? Like
Well played.
You, dude.
Which one?
I
It's a
think you meant.
box.
I think you meant.
which
your
one do
knee,
you
but, know.
which one do you think?
But you dove on that grenade, didn't you? You're just like, no.
When in doubt, remain quiet.
Exactly.
Oh, this is not. Now I got to open this part too. God damn it!
Double wrap.
Case in point.
Definitely the director.
Oh, my grandparents sent me a gift, like not even for Christmas, and it was wrapped and taped and wrapped again and taped again. It took me almost 20 minutes to open the damn thing.
Fun.
Were they trolling you or just scared it wouldn't be arrives like
No, they just literally wanted to make sure it didn't break.
They've
And I
got
was like, I mean,
Alzheimer's,
you guys are
and they
cute, but
forgot
this
that they
is
wrapped it.
excessive.
So they wrapped it again.
Put that box in a box, and I put that box inside of another box. And I went, well,
I love that movie.
oh,
Seriously, this is the third time you've unwrapped this, though, right? So
Tell me about it.
Person to start with, apparently.
And here I thought opening the Amazon box was going to be the only problem I had to worry about. Sweet. Talk about that bender I get to go on. Hopefully it doesn't fall out and break.
all right,
Ooh.
that's pretty nice.
Whiskey
Fancy.
glasses and ice cubes that don't melt.
That's
I
from
got
me.
I got my dad's ice cubes like that for Christmas.
Wait, that wasn't from the director?
It was not.
Good
Those
job.
for me. I thought this was supposed to be more Secret Santa. That's why I said Broken Jars.
There you go.
Thank
so-
you.
It was a secret. We all guessed wrong, so you did a
Thank
good
you
job.
thank you, bitchier Jacob. I appreciate
So we do know who the half of a girl is, since we were for sure this is the director.
it. It worked out well.
I actually thought it was the other Jacob. But I guess I can't argue with that.
All right, so
They just
Andres
like
called you
gift
out.
wrap on Amazon. I didn't pick the wrapping or anything. I click the button.
Right.
All right,
Well,
now,
they did a good job.
bitch, Jacob, now you open your gift.
Jeez. Well,
I'm
at least
sorry,
we're going
I'm-
for the judge.
Alex, are
Oh.
you just so
I'm
stupid?
sorry, Jacob. I was trying to point it towards the other one,
I
but
know.
like
This is
somehow
great.
it landed at your feet.
He claimed it before it even got there.
I got,
That's all right.
I
We've
got,
got the
long-eared
eldest.
cap,
He was like, you spoke to me.
bobblehead.
Oh, you opened it already.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because unlike mine, it wasn't gift wrapped. So
Yeah.
and then also the Adventure Begins Dungeons and Dragons cooperative board game.
Ooh, I didn't know they made that.
Hmm.
Seems cool.
Yeah, I think it's newish. It's supposed to be like the easy way to get into D&D. It came with some cool minis and some dice and shit.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah, we used to have a D&D Game Master podcast.
We
Yeah,
used to have
that
a lot
lasts
of
like 3
Yeah,
episodes.
yeah, that was
That
you.
used to be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
I
I'm
wonder who ran that.
glad they found you. So
yeah, because you got some cool looking like minis that are different color coded.
Oh, nice.
nice.
So you get a little bit of
Justin-
everything. Like you
Yeah.
get dice, you get minis, you get game.
That's from Justin, which I appreciate very much.
No guessing.
Well,
I think I
put it
signed
on
it.
his card. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
I figure by the time you're opening it, like,
It's no
so,
longer a secret at that point.
right.
Okay. Justin's
The
turn.
Momir cap is the best.
So this ought to be at least a little funny because
I
during
want
the move-
one with Baby Yoda
there you go.
of those.
During the move, the wife repacked it, so I have no idea what to expect anymore. She took it out of the Dresden Justin box, which I'm assuming was from one of you guys, and then okay, yep, this looks like stuff that was on my list. So I've got 100 deadly skills. I don't know if there we go, camera adapted, and then D&D miniatures for the first time in a couple of years. Sorry, the glare. Icon of the Realms, Dungeon of the Mad Mage. I haven't been buying miniatures because, we were in Florida and anticipating moving back. But now that we're back in Utah, I figure, let's go crazy again. Prepare for the pandemic to be over. So,
Have you seen that? What's it called? Is it Hero Forge? Where you can just make like these super custom.
I've used your
Miniatures.
board. It's pretty cool.
I read the Dresden Files subreddit, so I see it like every day, Andreas. You're a moderator there,
Yeah,
my dude.
if
Like,
only somebody
I
would cut down
look-
on that.
I look at the queue. Okay, if something's reported or if something needs to be approved in there, I'll see it.
I have reported.
But if you think
things
I'm
these
browsing
last 2
every
weeks.
single thread on the subreddit, I have other things to do.
I have reported at least 3 things the last 2 weeks.
I would just like to point out then that I read more of that content than Andreas does, and he's a moderator. So
refused, and it stayed
But
up.
the
Dozens
cool thing
of
about
times.
Hero Forge, if you do have a 3D printer, you can buy the files for like $5 or $10 or something. You don't have to actually you can build them there and then print them instead of.
They have like a
paying
color
$30.
thing now too, right? Which is
Yeah.
yeah.
I haven't
this
used that
was worth the
yet.
price of admission right there. So it's a Baylor if you guys couldn't make it out. So I basically
What
have
is-
a Balrog now.
Nice.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a pretty rare one, I
That's-
think, to get.
That's fucking sexy. Yeah. I don't know how they do the rarities anymore. Because like the old Star Wars minis in the first run of D&D minis, they had like the star, diamond, circle commonality
yeah, like
and
the
whatever.
Pokemon
but-
cards.
Yeah.
Oh,
but-
did you play Star Wars or like Dungeons and Dragons thing? Because
I
like my
didn't-
roommates are getting really into something called Edge of the Empire, and there's like just this one thing because there's like 4 or 5 system. It's like this many books, just one
Yeah.
thing.
I didn't get into the old D&D minis as much. That was Dad's thing, and then I inherited his collection. But I did the Star Wars, and I've got like a dozen source books from the D20 version. So
I wonder if it's the same thing because there's so many books. It's just like each class almost has like a little book or something.
yeah,
It's the same.
There's a really good fan made project that's like SW5E, and it's really intricate if you want to like have a 5E version of Star Wars.
nice.
Sounds neat. I definitely want to
So-
run a Star Wars game now that I'm getting more into Star Wars and I'm gonna know more than EG about it.
Any guesses to Justin's Santa?
Oh yeah, that's a good question, huh? Hard to say because it was like actually on my list. So let's see.
I think it was Director Alex.
Yeah, because she just brought it up.
Right.
I'll go off the book and go with Colin here.
I'm voting Colin.
I'm gonna vote Andreas to mix it up.
Oh, that means it was probably Jay.
I know, right?
Right.
I mean, if
No
Santa's
one's voting
here,
it.
please reveal it. Right.
Going
and I
Therefore,
guess-
it was Jay.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
All right. So who had him to buy
I had
something for?
Jay.
You had.
Okay.
What did you
It was
buy
my
him?
I don't even remember. It was on his list. I think it was a wood carving set.
A wood carving set.
Yeah, Carrie's been getting into that too, so I thought that was cool.
Oh, that sounds neat.
It would be so nice if he was here to show it off.
Scum and Villainy. They really would make the book that Scum and Villainy.
Yeah, I've read through them. Like they're really, really well done. Whoever the team is or person is that's done them
Oh.
has put in a lot of effort.
I love whoever made the website, and dark mode is called Join the Dark Side. That's just, I like that.
It's
Good job.
so easy. Colin, why don't you open your presents in this
Amazon
pattern that we
box.
have?
Hey,
I'm not the only one who wrapped something.
I did pay for the wrapping for J Ray, but that's if he was here to show it off.
We're just giving more trash to everyone.
Yep, for future reference, gift wrapping, not a necessity.
But at the same time, you don't want to just open it and then like, oh, this is not the thing that I ordered.
It also came in a
Well,
box.
my parents didn't even bother to gift wrap my gifts this year, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put
Wait,
in
hold
more
on. Is
effort
your
than my
argument-
parents did this
Is
year.
your argument that, oh, it's the wrong thing, but I'll appreciate it because I had to open two things instead of just looking at it and knowing
It's just the
immediately?
festivities.
Nothing
I've
personal.
been meaning
Kid.
to do this series.
Is it manga?
No.
Oh, Blade itself, Joe Abercrombie.
While we were busy getting good gifts, he was studying the blade.
Right.
And something else in the box bag.
An actual blade.
Right.
Did I win a Hugo? Not the Hugo, it's the Savvy Award. Don't they give you like an actual knife or something?
Yeah.
It's throwing stars.
Yeah, I guess I was living in Colorado for a while. I could have just shipped everybody some weed. That would have been a good thing.
If I still smoked, that would have been good, but I don't.
Then I would have been sent to a religious re-education camp. So,
Again.
no thanks. Yeah, right. It didn't stick last time.
Oh my god.
Wait, you were sent to one before?
It's not currently a thing, but
That is so.
I got a lot of oversized wine glasses. Now I can at least pretend like I'm not an alcoholic.
There you go.
Well, yeah, you're the one who spilled wine all over that ARC we got from. We did that book review for
I
Clockwork.
had
Orange.
forgotten about that.
Like he opened up the book to sign it at Comic Con. It's like, why is there wine all over the place? It's not my fault.
Well, thank you.
We're running out of options here.
Who gave him that?
Director?
Oh, yeah.
I also gets director. Does he like a director?
Wonderful.
I mean, we had way too many conversations about boxed wine for me not to get you some basic bitch item like that. Okay. Oh, I guess that makes it my turn. Ooh.
nerd.
Yeah. That would be Cersei,
Nice.
or I'm just going to say it that way, not the Greek way, from Madeline Miller, and Gideon the Ninth, both of which I've heard are very good.
Nice.
Gideon the Ninth is supposed to be really weird. I think it's in second person for at least some parts of it, and that's really bizarre.
Rogan Earth is supposed to be in second person too, as well.
Yeah, I've known of that one for a while, but I
Like
just saw
second person.
you were
Only
the
for certain
character,
parts.
right?
You're the character.
Yeah, I've heard it's like the best option. Like if you ever want to read second person, Broken Earth is supposed to be the better one. And I just really recently heard about Gideon the Ninth. Maybe it was Harrow the Ninth, the second one. I'm not sure, but it was great. Eldest Gruff, did you say to send anything yet?
Then someone.
Which that would be. That's
Whether
my
or not
guess.
it was you has yet to be determined.
Who is my Santa? I am not real sure.
I was like,
Okay.
it's,
Me.
it's one of two, isn't it? So
Yeah, so
50,
Yeah, and I
50 and
got
miss.
you those two because those were two books that's on my own TBR. I was like, yeah,
Nice.
it's been growing a lot lately for me. So this is great. I like
oh yeah,
having
my
physical
TBR
copies.
is never getting smaller. It's
Oh,
like No.
Right.
So okay. Woohoo!
He's the nerd.
Lean Architecture, a craftsman guide to software and structure and design. Which is great. This is the second part of this one that I already have. It's clean code. So now there's like a third part, but that's not that important. And then I would have all three.
Next year.
If they were hardback, you could use them to hold up another shelf, which is what you're supposed to use those books for. So
No. You're supposed
I
to
really hated your list, so I just went with the first thing there.
You hated my list?
Well, because I had to then interact with like the Norwegian version of Amazon, and that was a pain.
No, you can change the language.
It doesn't matter. It's still a different pay system because of whatever. I had to input new information. Anyway, my point is, I'm glad I don't have you anymore.
Man, so much haterade.
right.
I mean, at least we have a system now instead of just sending him an Amazon card. The first year or two was rough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have had Justin send me a gift card. Colin has sent me books twice, and they were delightful every time. And I got a set of dice from Ben that one time.
Nice.
Right.
Now you have something
doing
that
this.
like supports our reason for assigning you as in charge of web development, I'll say.
Yeah. Me and Justin will spin up something great.
Now that I finally got my extra hard drive in, I don't have as many excuses. It's just like time and effort at this point. So
As it always is.
It
yeah.
always is.
All right.
I am looking forward to reading that. Thank you.
Yay, 2021. Woohoo.
Yeah, new book.
It can only get better.
Yeah, right.
I don't know about
Right?
only.
Well-
Please.
At least when the shit hits the fan, I've got another guidebook to read. So,
Hey. And kindling for fire when the apocalypse comes.
Yeah.
whatever, man. TP first, then kindling. So
Does anybody have any New Year's resolutions, or did anyone actually like do their New Year's resolutions from last year?
my resolution is always
Oh.
not to have one. So
I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. Like, you don't need New Year's to make your mind up to do something.
right.
Especially since you're never going to do it.
Yeah, don't use it
Just
as
like-
another excuse to procrastinate, because the best
It's
time to
just-
start something was yesterday, and the second time best time is now.
If you want to change something in your life, just do it. And if you don't, then don't. But I mean, don't use New Year's. It's like, that's not going to work.
Except for diets, it didn't make sense to not bother in December.
True,
They're just not going
I
to
mean-
care.
there are definitely bad times to start things, like
Yes.
When you're on the toilet.
right, depending on what your resolution is. So
A good place to start a diet.
Fiber. It's like, well, you screwed yourself out this trip, but
I don't. Did you, Jacob, have any New Year's resolutions?
From last year, yeah, it was a quit drinking energy drinks, and I actually did it.
Oh, that's
good
good.
job.
I haven't had a Monster Red Bull since last year, or 2019. So my main resolution this year is just
How
to
are you
live-
awake right now?
do what?
How are you awake right now?
No.
you really think it's that hard?
Do you not? Okay, you drink coffee instead, then, right?
Actually, I drink a lot of Diet Dew now.
I'm gonna say you don't need either of these things to wake up. Humans have done it for a long time without these items.
They just make it nicer.
I don't believe it.
But
There was a time in your life when you didn't have them either.
The only real thing on my to-do list is to get a job.
Mm. That seemed to have
Good
been
idea.
being quickly fruitful, though.
To an extent, it's gonna be interesting because like no one works really between like the 15th of December, the end of the year. So be interesting to see if things start popping up soon.
You got some mad credentials, don't you? I mean, shouldn't be.
I do. It's just I've mad credentials in a very niche field, so there's not a lot of jobs available, and I was a pretty high earner in that field, so it even decreases the amount of jobs anyway.
You were
So
headhunted
now-
before, so I mean, you gotta be valuable, surely.
So now I'm like trying to balance the I need a job versus how do I not take a 5-year step back in salary? Like trying to balance those two things.
Yep.
Starbucks,
I know the
man.
feeling. For me, the other thing is like everything's on the East Coast, and we just moved back, but it's like all Virginia or Pennsylvania or whatever, and it's remote until COVID, which right now actually looks like it might end since the the vaccine is running around. So
No, there's a second
Yeah.
strain. Don't worry.
right.
I mean, I'm sure people are looking for solar wind experts right now with all the trouble they're going through.
I'm
They need-
actually surprised that it doesn't seem like it's slowed down. Like you'd think people would be like, well, that was the last thing we needed to dump that shit. So luckily that's not been the case so far anyway, but we'll see what the next few months bring because the whole thing is a cluster. So
Yeah, it was very weird seeing solar winds in the news after you had just talked about using it in jobs. Like, is that thing? Ew.
Right. Yeah. So many, like even in tech and cybersecurity things, they're like, what the hell's a solar winds? And it's like, like
I
they're
had no idea, and I'm pretty into
Yeah.
tech. Like, I was like, what the fuck is solar winds?
they're definitely one of the leaders in monitoring though. So it just seems kind of silly that, like there were so many people that had no clue, but it makes perfect sense as a high priority target because that means that the adversary did their homework, which that's been the main takeaway is like never has there been such a well-researched and planned attack. Right. And so, like, I think that's going to be potentially how, SolarWinds is going to sidestep a lot of the finger pointing. Hopefully they didn't do something comically bad like password 123 or something, right?
I mean, the hacking
yes.
thing, sure, but that vulnerability in the API, that was just poor design that I read about.
Not sure about the API thing. You might have to link me that.
It was
the-
basically it boiled down to something like authenticate your access. No, I don't think I will. In short term, no, thank you. Oh, okay, come on in.
Gotcha.
There
Yeah.
was some like perma access thing that was just like really badly designed
Yeah.
in the API.
Doesn't sound.
But the other thing was like that. I mean, they had a bad actor, right? And like someone who actually like got into their code base or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's supply chain. Like the only thing that I can think of, like the two places that they could have stopped it or intercepted it would have been, perimeter security. So that's why I'm concerned if they had bad account management or scanning their code base at least on the regular, because that's how they've been able to determine the affected version so far. So it's like, why is that not like monthly at a minimum or whatever, because they've been running around for 6 months, at a minimum, like the versions affected have been out for at least 6 months, and that's just terrible. But anyway, yeah, it's been a fun couple weeks. So
Yeah. In that sarcastic way of everything that is 2020.
oh yeah.
Everybody loves 2020.
I love that it's over. And it can't hurt me anymore, but it might have passed the baton to a new year. So
I say
we'll
it could
see.
easily keep hurting you.
Right.
Yeah. Oh no, 2020 will hurt us for the rest of our lives.
That's okay. Our lives aren't going to last much longer anyway.
Ooh, that's the spirit.
Nuclear warheads.
As long as I get to see some more Star Wars shows.
Well, unfortunately, you're going to
You
get
get to
about
see
10,
all
and they're
the
all
Star
gonna be
Wars
listed in
shows.
the next one.
You haven't seen them, Jacob. You don't know. You're going into this with a bad mental attitude.
I'm okay with that.
Go into it positively. Like, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
Mm.
I should pretend it's what I wanted and see how that makes me feel. All right, I want to break these glasses in now.
Okay. Go for it.
Like, do you rinse out the formaldehyde first, or is that just an unnecessary step? Like,
That enhances the flavor.
So I
Just
just
uncultured
realized this
swine.
cup.
Right.
Exactly. I did not know that. I did, but that's great. I just had to get you something referencing wine. It could have been girlier.
Wine would have been good.
That's a bit harder. I went with the easy option.
Why is it hard to?
It's not hard at all. You just have to sign for it because it's alcohol.
Depends on the state.
Yeah. And
Some
I didn't want to
states
do
get
that
really weird.
research.
Like PA, you have to like ship it to a state-run liquor store to get it, and it's a pain
Well,
in the
that's
ass.
why you should live in a better state.
That's why I don't live there anymore.
Or a
I've
better
lived in
country.
3 states this year across 3 different time zones.
So your resolution is to stay put for a few months?
Just to
At
find a
least a
job.
month.
Yeah, trying to order alcohol from Colorado to be delivered somewhere in Massachusetts is like, nah.
Man, I ordered a bottle of whiskey from England this Christmas. I don't want to hear it.
The Great Commonwealth.
Actually, it wasn't. Was it?
Of
Oh yeah, it was. It was
Massachusetts.
from England, but it was Norse. You know, it was the Highland Park, which is Scotland, but it was the Norse themed line. So I was going all over Europe for this shit. At least as far as the naming goes. So it made me think of you, Andreas, and then that instantly made me want to drink. So it worked out well.
Now I have to look at this just to see if it is palatable or not. Pretty bottle.
You're just looking up random bottles of wine.
You all don't do that?
No, and I like wine fine, but I don't like it that much. That I just go around skimming random bottles.
And Jacob had a party.
I think those are decanters, most of them. Do you know what a decanter is, or do they not have those in communist Denmark?
That's where you put your alcohol in instead of just keeping it in the bottle.
Oh, look at you. You do have some culture. If
Doesn't
only
also
just
like
some.
aerate the bottle or like helps get air into it or whatever.
It
At least
depends
I know
on
that's
the
what it's
one.
used for with wine.
Well, yeah, the wine ones are. But that's that's for when you're being a snob and you can't tell the difference between box wine and $7,000 wine, but you pretend you can.
Cheap
Yeah,
wine is just
my
fine.
wine knowledge is that is white or that is red. And that's about the
Right.
extent of
Yeah,
my-
and I don't fuck with white wine, so that makes it even easier for me.
There's some white wines that are decent, but
No, yes, you're a girl. You're naturally predisposed to enjoying white wine.
there's some red wines that are decent too. Mostly I just end up getting the very cheap bottle of Prosecco from Costco. It's $6. I can't argue with that.
Love the
No,
bubbly.
we have the $3 chuck at Trader Joe's.
Costco pizza.
Yes. That is definitely a thing I eat a couple times a month. Or
What
more.
about the Costco dog?
I prefer the pizza.
Yes,
But-
the pizza's better, but the dog is good if they're, if you don't want to wait on the pizza and they haven't had any ready.
Yeah. Oh my God, the days right before like Thanksgiving and right before Christmas, the amount of people just wanting to get food from the food court in Costco was actually mind-boggling
Why wouldn't they?
because they weren't buying anything else. I was like, why are you, what?
But I heard that like worth the price, like just the food court alone is worth going to Costco.
I mean, yes,
Yeah.
that's it. They have it as the loss leader and stuff, and that's fine. I was just amazed at how busy it was just for food in like the days leading up to the holidays without buying anything else.
They already have it, and they don't want to cook because they're about to cook a lot for holiday.
I get pizza with all of my groceries because once I put all the shit away, I don't want to break it back out, but I don't go there just for the pizza, honestly.
Well, when I was young and I was being dragged there, that's the only thing I went there for was the pizza and the frozen yogurt. That's how I was cajoled into not making a fuss. And then I would be dropped in the book section, and I would just go read something, and then the shopping would get done, and I would be scooped up.
The books have been kind of nice. They have fun, fancy bindings of various things.
Man, Costco has everything. I want a Costco.
Well, then you should live in a better country.
I live in the best country. We just don't have a Costco.
Then by
Then how
definition,
is it
it's not the
the
best
best country?
country,
It is because like we have so many other good things like free healthcare.
but not Costco. So,
Mhm.
don't you want free healthcare and Costco?
I'm going to pick free
Place
healthcare over
exists.
Costco.
You haven't had Costco pizza though. It would sway you.
Yeah, well, when we have enough money to pay for a ticket to the US, and I'll come visit you all, and we'll meet
Get
up
a
at a
job.
con, and we'll go to Costco.
Whenever travel is allowed.
It's allowed now, depending on which way you're going.
It's a free country.
We could also just wait for there to be enough money for all of you to come to Denmark,
But then there wouldn't be Costco.
but there wouldn't be
Yeah,
any
that would
Costco.
defeat the purpose. I mean, granted, I don't, I can get Costco whenever I want. So, like, shipping Andreas over here is not doing anything for me one way or the other. But at least
Okay.
going to Norway, I could be like, well, there's other things to do, and then I'll just go sleep in Andreas.
Yeah, but then you got to eat donor. So, like, who wants that?
well,
As
no,
long
I'll
as
just
it's not
go.
on
Co-
pizza.
I'll go to one of the
Colin
adjacent-
wants that, right? Colin, you want some donor?
Yeah.
I'll go to one of the adjacent European countries with real food.
We have great food here. How dare you?
You have
You just
terrible
don't-
pizza.
You just don't know any other food.
You
So.
don't know.
I have seen pictures. You showed
New
those
York
scandalous
has
pictures.
terrible pizza. How about that?
No, that's just factually inaccurate.
I don't know. I haven't had it, but I could talk about it as much as Alex. But she hasn't had my pizza.
I don't need mayo pizza.
It's not mayo.
Oh, it looked like it.
Creme
It's
fraiche.
such a-
Shit.
Yeah.
It's good. Colin will tell you.
I think he's pleading the fifth.
Donor on a pizza.
Why would you do that?
No, it's good. It's good.
No.
Oh,
have
there
it
goes
separately.
the support line.
Good things and then just ruin them.
No, they're great together.
All right, everybody. I got some plans I need to get to, so
I want to try
See
to
you
How
on
dare you?
before it gets dark.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas.
laters.
My end of year.
Yeah, happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's.
now it's just a Dresden
It's
Files
just a
episode.
crew.
Right.
Jesus.
Welcome to the Dresden Files podcast.
No.
Battlegrounds discussion.
No,
Episode 5, right?
no,
That was on the calendar. I saw it.
no.
Uh, yes, the calendar is messed up. But
So, right, while we were recording, talking about Mandalorian season 2.
it was last week.
Was
Might
it?
have left.
I mean, we definitely got sidetracked into Star Wars last week, but
Yeah. I think that had some of the arguments about Mandalorian for a while, for a
gotcha.
long time.
Y'all could, watch The Expanse and we could talk about something new. So,
That is.
So watch the last
on
couple
the
of
list.
episodes. But I'm just in the fringe rewatch.
okay, director, if I had known that you hadn't seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I would have helped you. I'm telling you now. If you like geopolitical, if you like drama, the fact that it's sci-fi, and it's a hard sci-fi, is super
Yes.
great.
So the thing is, do
Why?
I read the books first or do I
Oh.
watch the series first?
Watch the series
Hey.
first.
Watch the series. Also, hold on. Sorry, what was the also? Anyway.
God only knows.
Oh, it was stop watching Dark 3 times in a row.
I haven't
and
watched Dark in a while.
watch something new. That's what the also was.
Did watch a bunch of new things, and it
That's
was
good.
good. Yeah, it was fun. I guess I feel generally I should read the books first because I almost always enjoy things more that way. I feel like
Mhm.
if I go through the series and then go through the books, it's like I feel like knowing the ending
It's-
is kind of taking away the impact of the books.
Yeah, that's
Knowing
tough 'cause
the
that
ending
could go-
kind of takes away the impact of the show.
Right, because I was going to say that could go both ways, and
Yeah.
with the Expanse, I go to the subreddit at least when it's in season, right, and like everybody's watching the shows and whatever, and there is a little bit of a schism, as there always almost has to be, between people who've read it and people who are fans of the show. But my understanding is that it's still fairly accurate. Then they just change the things that seem to be forgivable, right? Some characters get combined and some of that stuff. Some of the complaints I saw for this season so far is like they seem to have undercut some of the tension from the books in some ways, but we're only 5 episodes in, and right now it's just there's so much happening. I'm like, let's write it to the end and then criticize, because honestly, I think it's been fantastic. Like it scratches a lot of itches, and since that's the most recent thing that I've been watching, like we're catching the wife up on Discovery, but I think you have to be a fan, like either a diehard old fan or a new fan of Discovery still. Like, if you're a purist, you're not going to ride that ride.
Oh, season 5 actually started. That's why I should really catch up then.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's week to week right now, but if you start with season 1, you'll be caught up by the time season 5.
Yeah, I do like being able to binge things instead of having to wait.
I don't know why everybody's moving back to that, so because like Disney started doing it, now everybody's like, oh, that works on streaming, like let's do that.
Because it's because it just works better for them, right? You get more conversation around your show. So more free publicity.
Yeah, it's about engagement, I'm sure, is what the answer is, but it's still stupid. So,
I mean, I'm still just the person who's going to wait, and I'm not going to look at the subreddit.
Right. Yeah.
Fuck those morons.
Right. For most things, I would.
Hot take
because of the holiday.
Alex.
Yeah. Because of the holiday, I was just like, I'm gonna be bored, so I kind of started watching it, and then I couldn't stop because it was that good. So
you're like, you just started it.
Well, season 5, there's five episodes. No, like I mean, I watched season 1 and 2 when I moved out to Florida, and then as the seasons dropped, I've been keeping up with it. I wouldn't say like I'm a diehard fan or anything like that, right? Because when it was getting canceled, it was like, oh well, that sucks, but maybe it's getting the Firefly treatment until Amazon picked it up, But
yeah, I guess, I mean, I'm only missing 3 episodes from season 4. I don't know why I stopped. I don't know if I just lost interest or something or forgot about it.
Yeah.
Or maybe I was waiting for episodes to come out and then I just forgot.
Yeah, and I want to say like some of the last episodes of 4, because that's when everything starts to come together. Like the first few episodes, I could understand you not being engaged because you're setting up the drama and whatever. But the last 4 like really tie it together, and to get me put on a list for some people, if not, like it just in general, Amos is my favorite character. And so the fact that like, yeah, like he gets to shine in 4, and he's got some pretty good moments in 5 so far, help. Amos, so the reason why that's suspect, since you haven't seen it, director, is that Amos is probably literally a psychopath.
Not really. Like, he cared. There's people he cared about. And
you're starting to see some of that now. However, in like seasons 1 through 3, it's mostly he just likes to hurt people. Yeah. But he doesn't just decide to wake up and hurt you. Like it's usually because things need to get hurt, right? He's the guy that's like, boss says you need to die, so nothing personal, but only one of us is walking out of here. And you get a lot more of that in season 4, where it's just like, sorry, you're on the wrong side of the team, type of stuff. But yeah, he's scary and wrong, and he has some of the best lines in the show. And like there's a thing in season 5, very briefly, where it's like he provokes some people and on a ship, and then he's like, okay, cool, well now that's done, I'm gonna go get a shower. And the people that he was defending were like, wait, they're gonna jump you. He's like, yeah, but I hate waiting, so so I'm just gonna go get a shower and let's deal with this,
Okay.
So
I think my favorite character is probably Alex.
He's really good too. So yeah.
I hate it when people have my name.
It's not with an I.
Of them.
Yeah.
Since they weren't all born before you.
Right.
Alex Kamal, he's the pilot, and he's like he's just a delight.
Right. He's like the least pirate of any of them, like so. But
yeah, I don't know. I still feel torn on which one to consume first, because I don't know. I very consistently can enjoy the TV adaptation to the book that I enjoyed.
Okay.
But I like knowing like Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell comes to mind, and the fact that they did a really good job sticking to a lot of the important things, but they did have to downsize a lot of it. Instead of a whole field of army people in Napoleonic Wars having magic done to them, it was one person, but they did the exact same thing described in the book.
Mhm.
So it's like, I don't know.
Then
I mean, I would say you have such a big TBR, and the show is genuinely good and
Right.
and well adapted so far up until where I have seen season 4, episode 8.
right.
I mean,
Yeah, and that's the main problem. Like, is sticking it behind the books? Like, are you going to start the books next week if you make that decision, or is it going to be like 6 years from now? We'll just be like, hey, you still haven't read Lord of the Rings, and you're like 30 now. Like, what's wrong with you?
it's like when I was Justin. Have you heard of Monster Hunter International?
I know. Unfortunately, I literally have the Chronicles of Amber in my hand now, so I need to actually start turning pages. But
Right.
I'm going to push that once we get done with the reread, because it's
Well,
like,
so that
hey,
was
we
the
need
thing.
new
I tried
topics. you know?
reading the Chronicles of Amber, and I stopped halfway through the first book. And if you're picking it up and it's going to be Dresden relevant, thank you. Maybe I should just try to finish reading that.
I mean, it's 1,200 pages, but it's 10 books, so it's pretty light, fast reading, is my understanding. But
Yeah, I have a version that's the first 2 books omnibus, and I just stopped in the middle of the first one because it wasn't gripping me very well. But like that, I can try again, and then we'd have reasons. I don't know. I have such a long TBR. Not all of it is even fiction, because there's a lot of nonfiction I want to learn. So like a couple weeks ago, when I had finished a book and I needed to decide what to read next, I literally panicked for like 2 days. What the fuck do I read? I don't know what the fuck I should do. There's a lot of fiction and there's a lot of nonfiction, and to the point I had made my husband decide what I'm going to read.
I get
And
you.
I've been going
Yeah,
through that.
I feel I can get a little panic about to read next too. But yeah, like right now I'm listening to Battleground for when I'm just like falling asleep because it's a book I've read before.
Nice, easy listening right before bed, you psycho. Like,
It's
good people are being murdered.
the falling asleep book is just a book I've read before usually. And then I'm doing a Star Wars book on audio, and I'm reading a Sanderson book, and I have decided to do a stupid project, but for my YouTube, which I thought would be fun, which is I've never really gotten into. I was never into Twilight, so I was like, I'm reading and watching Twilight movies,
Yeah, I'm out.
and I'm gonna like see how bad it really is.
Oh my god, dude! There's he
Literally
left.
scared him away.
Yeah, I can't. It doesn't matter. There's so many good things to experience. Like, I mean,
It's also-
I want to read The Expanse
something- no,
because
I
of the
think there's-
show, but I'm not.
It's worth looking at. If
Twilight
something
at all.
captures so many people's imagination, there's got to be something about it.
Yeah, and
That's
it is
good.
sometimes worth it to consume bad things,
Nope.
just to like kind of understand what the fuck did they do wrong, and it's funny.
Time
I also
is
I
like, there's
really
only
love
so much
vampire
time.
books. Like I really love vampire books, so it's kind of criminal. I never read Twilight. I've read all the other vampire books.
All of them ever.
all of Anne Rice's books, because there's a lot, my dude.
I have read 4 of them, and then they started getting bad.
Uh-huh. Like Twilight bad, or just, not as good as the other 4 books that you read, you. God. I would
Have you
read
read
all
Twilight?
of I would
I don't
read
know
all
how
of
bad
Anne
it is,
Rice's
'cause-
books before
I mean-
Twilight, that's for sure.
It started not being about vampires, if I remember right, and I was like, fuck it.
I wouldn't know. Anyway.
I mean, I've read Vampire Academy, and I liked them, which is also supposed to be like pretty bad, and the spin-off series to it, and Jesus, what else have I read? Like Chicagoland Vampires. I've read every fucking vampire book. Like
I remember there's a thing called Vampire Diaries.
I've read all of those.
Oh god. Those were gifted to me when I was a teenager, and I started reading it, and I like stopped in the middle of the first one, and then I heard like years later that they were making a TV show. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I watched the whole TV show too.
Ugh. I like vampires, but Stop it with teenagers.
There's a period, especially before Dresden. That's how I got into Dresden. It's like I was looking for more vampire books, and there was supposed to be vampires in Dresden.
Yep.
And then after that, I've like expanded a lot into a lot of other fantasy stuff and Sanderson. But before that, it was like urban fantasy vampires.
You did Mercy Thompson, right?
Yeah, which is very, very good. Actually, like it's my second favorite urban fantasy after Dresden, I think. This is one I actually ditched because it got bad. Anita Blake started pretty decent, and then somehow just turned into full-on porn. And I was
tried
like,
to get through that
yeah,
first
fuck
book
it.
twice, and
it wasn't even that bad. Like it gets really bad.
it was stupid. Like the
It gets really bad.
knowing that it got worse, like just kind of like not going to help me get through the first book when there was already some made up reason she had to make out with a vampire because she was walking down the street with him and a car was coming. It's like that is the stupidest reason to suddenly start making out.
I don't remember. I know that like I think the first one was a little but then like a couple books were good, and they got a little sexual, but then they got good again with not so much sex, and then all of a sudden I think it was book 8 or 9. It was like it just went heavy into the BDSM full-on porn book, and I was like, yeah, okay, and I was like, move on.
So let's get off of that topic and go back to other good books. Did you read Salem's Lot?
Salem's Lot. I don't think so.
Stephen King vampire book. Fucking put down Twilight and go read a good vampire book. There are good vampire books out there. Like, God.
Oh, I'll add that to the list because I need to read more Stephen King anyway. I've only read one Stephen King book, really.
Yeah, I don't remember this one had like there are some bits in this one that are just like, okay, I'm not really sure what these are adding to the story, but I don't think the Americana like pulled me out of it like it kind of like it almost does for It, but it's just because It is such a large book, but the Americana there is somewhat plot relevant in illustrating the actual cycle of the story. And then, it was The Stand, where it was just really like, I actually think this book would have been improved without these 4 chapters in it. Like, what the fuck is this? So
I need to read The Stand because the show was actually pretty good.
I need to start the show. That's definitely on my list. So,
and also the only Stephen King book I've read is The Institute, and there was like some Americana to start that, and I liked it a lot actually.
The only Stephen King book I've read is On Writing. I've seen several of the movies.
So out of the 3 of us, I would wager that I'm the least well-read person. But still, you guys like you guys find like the weirdest obscure shit, and I'm like, at least there's a reason
Dark
why
was
these guys are.
worth it.
Yeah, but that's fine. I get it. Like sometimes you come up with a gem, but you're like, oh man, maybe I should read this chick that's like, trying to reinvent something that's been retread for, 200 years versus like even Stephen King, like, is a retread for Christ's sake. Like, tell me you've read Dracula. Like, you read Bram Stoker's Dracula before you bothered with Twilight. Like,
I've read a lot of vampire books, and yes, I've read Dracula.
You did the Vampire Wars thing, right? Because that was the one that I did that Marsters was narrating.
Yeah, I liked it.
So you, me, and one other person who turned me onto those books, but like those were bad, but they were still not Twilight.
I don't think they were bad or anything. They were, I would say, pulpy. Probably, they're good entertainment, but they weren't that. I don't know.
They had some interesting ideas, but they didn't really follow through it. And then the overarching direction is the love story, which is like, no, that's.
So, I really like the
world building. Was it a bad love story, or do you not like love stories?
It was.
It was from haters to lovers trope kind of thing.
No, not entirely. It was more like, misunderstood, but it was kind of like contrived. It was pulpy, it was, it was like Zorro, Vampire Zorro, and I don't know, something else. But basically, like, vampires have been hiding out in the North and South Pole because they don't have to worry about cold, and they've somehow managed to create numbers the likes to take over the world. And they launched that war back in the 1800s, but it's the steampunk era for some reason. And so the world is somewhat interesting, but then in between it, you have the what would you say, like the anti-hero of sorts, who's basically literally like Zorro Batman, like literally he's just, or the what was the
He's like a
character?
vampire prince who fights against vampires.
Right. And he's in Edinburgh, right? He's in Scotland. That's
he owns
so-
Scotland. I think that's how
Right.
it is.
And so he's running around, he's a little bit Thomas, and maybe that's because Marsters voiced him a little bit like Thomas, and he's got all these other things. But yeah, like you can draw parallels to other things, like the underworld a little bit, some thematics there.
There's
and
Beauty
stuff,
and the
but-
Beast as well, with them in the castle, kinda, and her being a prisoner, and she falls in love with him, kinda.
Yeah, that's true, but
Yeah.
but like she's only a prisoner in so much as in to protect herself, right? Like it's just, I don't know, it's not great. Like the character's okay, but he basically, it's like I don't feel like there was anything truly unique about him, right? It's like he's a hodgepodge of all the anti-hero types of characters.
I liked her character development more.
I liked it until she became, the classic female trope, which is I'm the leader of the free world, but I must fall in love with the anti-hero, because she is a strong character and you get into some of the magic of the world through her, but then she stops being like a strong independent character. It helps that as Marsters voices it, her secondary love interest is Ebenezer, which is funny as shit to me. Basically, he's a 40-something like colonel from the US, so he's got all of Ebenezer's, like shenanigans and like 80% of his voice, so it's just like it's the same thing. But I mostly like that character until he does the, tough call stuff, which, of course requires like massacring hundreds of people because, he's an
Reasons.
idiot, because he's evil. So, or whatever.
I remember really liking the secret society subplot
Yeah.
kind of thing as well. I think the book it's above average, I would say. It's not a bad book.
You've read a lot of bad shit then, because that's what I'm saying. Maybe you guys should start reading some like, some of the best authors, some of the people that are like famous and, made a
Right.
living off of it. I'm just,
So
Yeah,
my
like Twilight, right?
yeah.
One of the most
that's
sold
bad.
books ever, right?
Okay. How does that rate against Stephen King? I'm just saying, like,
I mean, I don't know actually, but I mean, I'd rather read King. It's just King is really daunting to start on, right? Like, where do you start? Like one of all the
it
singles.
doesn't matter. Yeah. Pick one.
Yeah.
They're not a continuity unless you're going to go for the Dark Tower stuff. So
Yeah,
like
exactly.
there are things tied together, but it's not like, you have to. So I'm a continuity guy. Just pick one. I don't even remember the one that I started with, but I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. And I think I read Salem's Lot because either somebody had mentioned it or there was a show coming or a movie or something. I read it because I don't know if I read it because the movie was coming out or I had done it before, but like it literally was just like, okay, it's time to pick a book and start going through it.
I need a different version of it than the one I have.
want a prettier version.
No, it's one of those, like, the book is too big and the book is trying to be too compact. So it's like, first it's really tiny font, and it's just like, let me just actually just grab it. So weird.
Yeah. Don't read The Stand like right now, probably. I guess I should think, because I was a hypochondriac even without there being a global pandemic at the time. So The Stand is fantastic.
I'm watching
but
the show, so
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
super flu.
I'm just saying, like, well, but one of the primary symptoms is a cough. So every time you start coughing and you're like, oh fuck, I've got Captain Trips. So
it's like one of those where I just like, I wanted, give me this, but in Sanderson floppy paperback version, like, if you know what I mean, Alex.
I don't have I have mass market paperbacks and I have hardcover Rhythm of War. I haven't done the floppy thing.
Or give me hardcover size. Give me like,
No,
yeah,
the
give me, like,
hardcover Rhythm of War was perfectly fine, and it was so pretty. Like, I'm very happy with having done that.
this instead.
right.
Like this kind of size instead of this.
Yeah, especially it, because like you understand it is a huge book, and making
Yeah.
the font smaller is not going to help that. So, yeah, read it. Stop reading Twilight. That's it. That's my wisdom for this year. That's how we're going to start it out.
That's just when it's that popular. There's got to be something to it.
But the problem is there's so many better, more popular things. Like,
but I was actually thinking, like, I read Twilight when I was a teenager, and there was something kind of enticing about it, but I can't really pinpoint why. And so it becomes like I was thinking about like, what was it the thing that like so many people gravitated towards, even though it is not very good? Something about it had a spark that people liked.
I think it would be funny, like from a perspective. I actually saw another YouTuber do this. Like it's like from the perspective of someone who's never caught up in the hype. I didn't really like. I was just somewhere else in my life at that point. I didn't really read much. I think so. I just missed it. I missed the whole boat. So it'd be cool, like as a retrospective, just now. Then like, okay, so read the books, watch the same movie, and be like, how bad is it really?
Oh, the movies are probably absolute shit, but I don't know. Like you can probably power through the books within, like if you tried to, within a week or so.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. Like I'm kind of curious actually if you're really going to read the whole thing. If anything stands out to you, because it's been so long since I read it.
while we weren't recording, I can't wait to suffer through that with EG. God, it's going to turn out he's like, actually, I like Twilight. Like, fucking, I'm just not going to show up that episode.
No, he'll just
like,
parrot his brother's opinions, right? Because his brother loved it.
But I mean, I've also ordered a lot of Star Wars books from Canon. Don't shoot me, Justin. But that's just a lot easier to get into. So, like, yeah, it's gonna be good. Gonna be a great year for reading. I should set up my reading goal right now.
Yes, make goals.
Goodreads.
I think I've got
Right.
like 18 days to read through 10 books, so I think that's a pretty good start. I'm going to have to recheck out this book probably, but luckily it's like in the whole valley, there are 5 copies because the library system is chained through the counties. I don't know what the other states do, but they're all 5 of them were available. So it's just like, oh, cool. Which is the closest library? So I don't have to wait an extra day.
How far
So-
into it are you?
I
Not at
haven't
all?
even.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been doing the responsible thing, and for Christmas I got the remastered edition of all of the BioShock games for the Switch. So I'm like halfway through, BioShock 2 now because I finished the first one the other day. So
One of the
So
things
I-
I need to do
I need to read
is
it,
cut
but-
out rereads more, like to reach my goals.
hopefully it's going to be another year or two before we have to do a Dresden reread. But yeah, like
Yeah. If you enjoy Chronicles of Amber, you will absolutely enjoy the Vlad Telltale series by Stephen Bruce.
Okay.
Bruce, like, in terms of style, completely did this exact same thing.
mhm,
He even named one of his kids Corwin, which is the main character's name.
gotcha.
I think they work together
Oh,
a
hey,
lot too.
Sleep in a Sea of Stars, one science fiction best book. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a
Haven't
new
read that.
Christopher Paolini book. I haven't read it either, but it's on my TBR.
I didn't enjoy Aragon, so I
I haven't
Don't
read
know.
Aragon, so I don't know. Hey, the sequel to the one I gave you is the second most highly voted.
what
Arrow
Herald
the Ninth. Yeah.
I've heard it has some issues in the beginning, but then it like ends really strong. So I don't know. I'm excited for lesbian necromancers in space.
That's the tagline that gets everybody, apparently.
I know it's like the space necromancers.
Wow, Rhythm of War was
Space
only
lesbians.
fourth? Damn. Sarah J.
Yeah.
Maas's book got a lot of votes. I need to check that out.
I've heard of her as well, but yeah.
I have all her YA books over here because they're so popular. I got a lot of the popular books I want to check out. But her new series got like the most votes. Houses of Cerulean Sea's third. I read that, which was good. I would recommend that to people if you want a read that will make you happy.
Happy is good.
It's a very sweet story. It's a little weirdly written, the way he writes, the author, for me. But it was a good story, and it made me happy.
He's gonna keep going on about books and books. so
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
should-
I'm just gonna keep going on about books unless you end the show. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
this-
I'm going to do the EG thing. Bye. No.
yeah, and then Colin, and then Jacob.
Well, it
yeah.
started with them, but
This was our end of year special for 2020.
ramblings.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the Secret Santa and Ramblings. So check out all of our stuff. If you're watching this, I hope you know what all that is.
Right. All three of
I have
them.
a YouTube channel. Go check it out. Wee.
Name it.
Wait, what's my name? My name is Andreas. I think that's the YouTube channel.
Just
You're putting
Andreas.
me on the spot now. Can you put it in the show notes? Are there show notes? Do we have show notes?
I can.
If you send them to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's I'll send you a link right now.